Hello and welcome back to Still Eligible. I am Jack. Pat is to my left, and we are back from Alabama. We are headed to the Red River Showdown this weekend. Texas State Fair. A real rivalry. We've been to some big games, but a real rivalry this weekend. We're excited to talk about all of it, so let's get into it.
A real rivalry, but not the biggest rivalry as we know.
A real rivalry. Trying to say Red River.
Yeah.
Red River, real
like
rivalry.
Tongue twister.
I'm not good with that kind of stuff. But yes, a real rivalry. One we're excited for.
It's gonna be a good one. We get to sleep in our own beds.
That's the main thing. Like 10 days straight.
That's why we moved to Dallas, was for this week to have one game on the 15-week schedule where we can sleep in our own beds.
It is what it is. We thought about going to a different game or a couple of games at Jerry World, but that just seemed like we were quitters at that point. So
yeah,
this is our week, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm excited for the State Fair, Texas State Fair. Did you go when you went last time or not?
When I went last time, we were at the Texas State Fair for a portion of it. Not much. Okay. I think it was more of a couple pre-game and post-game beers. I don't think I ate anything crazy. I know they're known for crazy fried, crazy everything foods that we'll have to check out. But I don't remember.
Well, I've been eating so healthy recently that I've probably earned it.
Probably about to be the worst of it. The Texas State Fair. I've only heard things. I don't remember what I ate. Nothing alarming.
I think I said this to you like the other day, but in the same way that college football players will take like the just wearing the shorts and like this picture where they have their arms out, and then like after the strength program, you see we should have done one like that, but just how out of shape we are. Yeah, it's not good. I mean, it's good. We eat good, but
speaking of eating good, Dreamland Barbecue.
Yes.
That was our first stop Thursday after we landed in Alabama last week. We're doing a 2-for-1 podcast this week. There was a social media shutdown. And we shut down, and we're gearing up for this weekend. Dreamland Barbecue, first stop we made while in. I want to say Oklahoma because like the colors are similar, and it was all a blur. I don't know, just one big long weekend runs together. But Dreamland Barbecue, Tuscaloosa. We went to the original spot, which was recommended to us. Our guide Chad met up with us. Chad was kind of just our overall tour guide all weekend. Yeah. Chad's a legend. We met him in Oklahoma City for the Women's College World Series. He's a student there. I think he's almost done. I don't know.
Almost.
Chad hit that extra half-year lap, full lap. Who cares,
little Van Wilder.
He's still eligible.
He definitely is.
But, yeah, he shows a good time. So we went to Dreamland Barbecue. What's the name of it? What was their slogan? Do you remember it?
Oh, man. I said it in a southern accent, so I feel even worse that I can't remember it.
I don't know, but they're known for their ribs. And I thought their ribs were phenomenal.
But then
we posted a TikTok, and we posted the same video everywhere, but we posted it on TikTok, and the people on TikTok were just absolutely not having it. They said these are some of the top comments I saw. Real ones know Archibald's is the real spot. Average 5 out of 10. No locals eat there. Good sauce, bad ribs, which the sauce was amazing.
Sauce was great.
The white bread is better than the ribs, which that was funny. And then this one was my favorite. That place is terrible, spelled terrible like you would
like Charles Barkley.
Like Charles Barkley. Nothing in Tuscaloosa is a good reputation of the state Alabama. That is verbatim what that person wrote.
I think I know what they're trying to say.
And overall, that place is terrible. Nothing in Tuscaloosa is a good reputation of the state Alabama.
I think you got to just swap a few words there to
move
make
some
that
words
work.
around. I think that person is a good representation of the state of Alabama. Tuscaloosa, I think it was very nice, very welcoming. I don't know about the rest of the state, but yeah. So I enjoyed those ribs. I think you enjoyed those ribs. You're not a rib guy necessarily.
No. Well, I also I remembered what the slogan is. It's ain't nothing like 'em nowhere.
Right, which
according to TikTok commenters.
That's the same guy that came up with a slogan that commented on our TikTok.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm not a rib guy, but I didn't think they were like terrible, but also like you have to factor in that we're like eating on camera. It's always like a little less enjoyable. I don't know if that's how it is for you, but like when I'm eating, I mean, you get sauce on your face like almost on purpose.
Own it.
Yeah, I don't like eating on camera. It's kind of like eating on a date. Like you're a little more controlled, I feel like. At least that's how I am. So I don't know if that affects the actual taste, but I mean, it wasn't bad, but it also like when we're filming these videos, like sometimes you have to be like, this is great. And
you don't have to.
Well,
who gives a shit?
I'll factor that in next time.
I don't care.
I don't think I said it was great. I just ate it and I was like,
I thought
it
was
yeah.
genuinely good.
I thought it was fine, but then it's like anything on the internet. Everybody has an opinion, and lots of people don't know how to spell.
I mean, we didn't go to Archibald's, so sorry about it. Next time we will. We could do a rivalry rib off, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you don't like it, then don't like it.
We're also like not from there. We're literally doing this 15 weeks back to back to back. So it's like if you have recommendations, please, for the love of God, let us know, because
saves us some Googling.
We're literally just like,
I'm not a rib guy
guys.
either, for the record. Didn't mean to cut you off. I love barbecue, not necessarily a rib guy. Like I love burn ends and I love, the whole brisket whatever deal. But I thought those were genuinely good. Granted, like my first bite, I got mainly bone, and I don't know, I like a big old meaty rib, and I think you had to kind of work a little bit harder for those. So I get what these people are saying. And maybe I did it maybe as well. Maybe I was too camera loving for the ribs. We'll have to keep that in mind before our next food review. It's okay to not like everything.
All right. You know who the original rib guy was?
No.
Adam
from Adam and Eve?
Yeah, God used one of his ribs to make Eve.
That's a good rib.
Yep.
That might have been the best rib.
That might have been the most important rib in history.
In the history of ribs.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Didn't see that coming. Oh, man.
I was about to be like, did you appreciate that? But that segment's not happening
far
for a
away
while.
from that.
Yeah, so we I guess we need to be a little more honest with our food reviews. But yeah, we did get to go to the Hey Coach show.
That was cool.
We had a seat kind of far away, and then we got moved to a seat that was literally like right next to the door. And I think when we sat down, we kind of just realized, okay, this is the door that Nick Saban's going to walk through. Like, we're about to get a really
money shot. And
we did. We threw it up on TikTok.
It blew
up. Yeah, we're still learning.
I'll get to that later.
We're still kind of like learning TikTok, obviously. I mean, I use it more than you do. I'm going to get to that in my appreciate you as well. But no, it was cool.
I screenshotted it. TikTok blew my mind this weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can pull this up fast enough, but we had like 500 followers on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of not our priority, which I don't know what our priority is, but it was not TikTok. We had 594 followers on my birthday, September 27th.
Mm-hmm.
As of right now, we've got 1,400. I feel like that's good little ROI.
It is. And the weird thing about it is that you never truly know it's going to work, but also
random stuff pops
up.
Also, it helps when it's Nick Saban.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think that we didn't. I don't think we hashtagged Nick Saban, but like we hashtagged, Alabama football, whatever. And I don't know. It's just something where there's no exact science to it, but like we've talked about it.
It blew my mind.
You get like rewarded when those posts blow up because people will like go back and watch other stuff. So not to
LG rhythm.
Yeah, not to get into the LG rhythm too much, but no, he walked right past us. We were able to get some good video, good photos. Miss Terry was there.
Yes.
That is his wife.
VIP table.
VIP. There was a woman, the show is called Hey Coach, so it's like every question starts with Hey Coach. Because I asked you at one point, I was like,
I think that's part of the deal.
I was like, they keep saying it. And they're like, yeah, it's the name of the show. Some woman called in and was asking like about like a 3-4 defense. And it was just like, I mean, are you trying to like.
It was like this old lady.
Yeah.
She's like, Coach. Hey, Coach. I don't think we blitz enough. What?
She wants to be a GA, maybe. Grandma assistant.
That'd be funny. But yeah, she called in. It was cool. It was our waitress. I think you were in the restroom at the end when we were whatever, but she was telling Chad and I that like people wait overnight. And I guess it used to be significantly worse because like
I heard that.
Now I guess people used to wait overnight to get a spot to sit there for an hour and watch Coach Saban talk and hopefully get something autographed or get a picture or whatever it may be. But yeah, I guess it's gotten better because of COVID because Coach doesn't do selfies anymore and he hands out autographed photos that he does himself.
It's a baller move. Just here.
Here's a picture of me that I just autographed. Take it. Well, I made a point about that. So he had this big old security guard who was just handing out Nick Saban autographed pictures of him holding up CFP National Championship trophy. And I was just like, well, I mean, he just had no rhyme or reason to it. He was just handing them out. He gave it to like these 2 6-year-old girls that were sitting right next to me. And I was like, well, I'm just going to make eye contact with this guy until he gives me one. And I just kept giving him head nods and giving him head nods and giving him head nods. And I was like, I'm not like a collector, like autograph, whatever, dude. But like, hey, if I'm sitting here and they're handing out free autographs and I saw him just sign it, like that's a good memory. So 30 head nods later, I got a Nick Saban autograph. So that was cool.
Start bringing your photos that you've taken or photos of us and just signing them and passing them out.
We should just start. Yeah, we should hand out autograph photos of us.
Fake it till you make it.
We just like walk out of wherever they're at and they're just like all over the ground. Like,
yeah, I don't think people would hold on to them for too long. Friday, the next day, we kind of, I don't know if this is a low point or a high point. We had like a lunch right before lunch.
Yeah, pre-game lunch.
Pre-lunch
lunch.
Ramajamas. We want to check it out, but we had like a lunch scheduled for right after. So like we managed to get there with Chad. Again, Chad joined us for a lot of meals. A ton of memorabilia. It was like football helmets on the ceiling and
packed wall to wall.
Old newspapers and
was what's it called? Dreamland was packed wall to wall and stuff. But this place is literally right next to the stadium. It's like breakfast, lunch, joint kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, people are doing bottles of mimosas. It was like 2 for $1 all day, every day or something like that. I'm like, all right, sign me up. But yeah, like you're saying, memorabilia everywhere. Like there was so many autographed footballs that they had this huge wall of autographed footballs that were like in a glass container. And they just had like 40 extras just sitting on this table. I was just like chilling. All this stuff. There was like game use shoulder pads, T-shirts, signs, rings. And this place is not big by any means.
No,
it's like
they had like the locker like title things up on the wall because they had like Josh Gaddis, who's now like the offensive coordinator at Michigan. They had like I'm like, where? I mean, they just had everything you could ever think of.
My favorite part of the whole thing was there was this piece of cardboard. There's memorabilia everywhere. Like literally wall to wall, every inch is taken up with pictures of whatever, Bear Bryant, Nick Saban autographs. But then there's this one little piece of cardboard like leading into the kitchen that's just like, I don't even know the name. I think it was like Michael or Daniel. It says like manager on duty, Michael or something like that. And it was just like handwritten and looked like garbage. And it was like, why is this even here? But yeah, that place was awesome. The food was actually great. I'm not saying that because I have to say it. I'm saying it because I mean it. We got breakfast. What do we get? Biscuit sausage sandwiches with hash browns. And it was actually very good. The turnaround time was a little bit slow, but it was because it was packed. I guess Marty Smith was in there like 10 minutes before we were.
Yeah, we saw that. So then
when Marty left and we came in, it really got busy.
Yeah.
It was kind of empty when Marty was there.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was pretty cool. It's literally right next to the stadium. I don't know how crazy it is on game day, but if you're ever in Tuscaloosa, I would check out Ramajamas, maybe more than Dreamland.
Probably space out the time between eating at Ramajamas and going to City Cafe, which is where we went next. We literally went from eating to eating. We we sat right next to a.
We're literally eating.
Yeah, we sat next to like a plaque of their. So we've talked about we met the Vandy Whistlers in Omaha. There was an Alabama Whistler, not at the football game because you kind of get drowned out there, but at the restaurant.
Is that why he was not there, Pat?
Yeah, he was known for.
He's dead.
Well, yeah, a commemorative plaque, I should have said.
Game used whistle.
Yes, he used to stand up at the restaurant, this place, City Cafe that we went to, and do these chants and whistle. And the guy we were with was saying like sometimes people didn't know that was his thing, and just blow into their ear, which I guess when you're eating, But it's a very southern thing I'd never heard of. It's called like a meat and three, so like you get like a meat and like three sides.
This is like being us from the Midwest. I feel like anything in these southern schools, states, whatever, it's like they're probably like listening to this podcast like you guys are idiots, but to us this is mind blowing.
Yeah,
we don't have barbecue places in Akron, Ohio, known for their ribs.
No, and not like it's
not
like
anything you want to eat.
It's like a rotating menu, and like every day is different. I mean, it was really like we got really again. No one's forcing me to say this. Really good food. I think it was like Southern comfort food. We both got fried chicken breast fillet, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese. I got coleslaw. You got turnip greens.
Turnip greens.
Yeah, turnip.
I just got it because it said turnip.
Yeah. It's lit.
Turnip greens. I'm not gonna say I liked them because I don't have to say I liked them, Pat. They were like that Thanksgiving thing, like meal thing, when you push your fork and your knife together and you just make like the biggest hodgepodge of whatever smorgasbord and like just do one big bite and it's like 37 flavors at once. Like that's when I enjoyed the turnip greens. And then when I realized, I ran through my mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, and chicken too quickly that I had leftover turnip greens, I just kind of had to let them be because they were not great by themselves.
It's like a good role player on a team. Like when they have strong supporting cast, it's good. But when they're on their own, it's kind of like not as
Flip Murray.
Yeah, exactly.
So not a turnip greens guy, but when applicable, not bad. So I'm like to try new things. So I did that. Pat on the back for that. And also, I don't know, it kind of helped that I just had a biscuit 14 minutes before, so I wasn't really missing out on being full.
We kind of did a little pre-production, just walked the quad. I don't know if I'd call it pre-production, but I like sounding official.
Sounds cool.
And it was kind of being set up, all the tents, and just, to go from that into Saturday was just, I mean, we've seen it before, but like the quad area was really popping on Saturday. So just to walk around kind of the calm before the storm was interesting.
The quad area was sweet. We were there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, obviously. And, like you said, the transformation was huge. Like Thursday, there was a bunch of lines and saying, like, you cannot post up your tent until Friday. Then Friday, they slowly started coming in throughout the day. And then Saturday was full go, just a ton of tents everywhere. And as Pat's saying, like, this quad is just a big old grass area right in the heart of campus. And, I mean, it was wild. Just the amount of tailgates in, I don't want to give the dimensions, but like in this general area, it was nuts.
What's your guess for the dimensions?
I mean, it's got to be bigger than 8x10.
Yeah, I'd assume
for sure.
I'd assume so. But yeah, no, I mean, once the transformation took place, we met some characters. You met our guy Chase.
Yeah. I don't remember what fraternity he was in. He was the guy in the American overalls. If you saw our stuff, very entertaining. His brother looks like Ninja. I don't know if we got any content footage or anything of him, but he has neon pink hair, so that's a look. And I played some beer pong with him. Actually, I was embarrassed. 0 for 2. The first game was horrible, just beyond embarrassing. Ninja got me. And then the second game, we fought a little harder, but I don't have it like I used to. I don't know if I need to up my practice at home or whatever. These college trips. I mean, back when I was in college, I was a decent player, but I'm well removed from my years there, Pat, and was rather embarrassing.
Yeah. Luckily for you, I just took a picture of the ball mid-flight. There was no ability to.
The perks of listening to the podcast, you find out that I just got absolutely manhandled by a
if you
guy
saw
with pink hair on.
If you saw the
pong.
picture, you probably thought, "Oh,
Jack's balling."
Yeah, no, not
Wrong.
the case. The dangers of social media, which again,
don't trust it.
Thankfully, we had an outage recently for everybody to
cleanse,
get away. But I talked to this guy Nacho Alabama, my main man Nacho Alabama. This guy was eclectic, electric. He is just like a super fan, and he has this hammer,
super something.
He has this huge hammer that he just carries around, and like kind of dresses a little bit like Nacho Libre, wrestling kind of outfit. And definitely one of the more
look at his
interesting.
social media. That'll keep you entertained for what it's worth.
He was plugging himself hard. Like he was.
I mean, I get it.
He honestly, is a super fan.
Kind of worried about this guy.
Yeah, we see people sometimes, and again, I think listening to the podcast, you obviously get more insight into what we're posting and everything. Like, you'll see people sometimes, and you're like, I don't want to interview that guy because I feel bad for him, and I don't want to, embarrass him or something. This guy kind of was teetering on that line of like, do we talk to him or
he was something. It's hard to believe that this guy was just running around everywhere by himself on a game day. He's like 47.
Yeah.
One would imagine that he's not Nacho Alabama all the time, and he's got a job somewhere. He meant well, but it kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely a main man. You got a 6 shot of Saban walking in. I just wrote down like he must at this point at that point in the trip he's probably thinking like, who are these guys?
Well, I was gonna say that earlier when we got the shot. You got the shot of him walking in the restaurant. Like I was taking pictures, you were taking video, and like when they opened that door, we were literally the first 2 people that Nick Saban saw.
He smiled into the camera for like a second. And I was just like,
He's like, come here to get away from the media and just kind of talk behind the radio, whatever. And we're just, boom. How you doing?
And the funny part too is like, they told us like he's going to be arriving around this time, but I just like held the camera up for like 4 minutes beforehand because I was like, if I miss this Saban shot, like, I mean,
Coach, can you walk back in?
Yeah. Just run it back real quick. We'll do it over. But
the Walk of Champions was cool though, for the record.
Yeah.
And the only reason I got that video of him was because my SD card was all messed up at the time. So I got a few photos, and then it was taking forever to load the photos. So I was like, all right, well, whatever. Whipped out the phone and just kept taking video. So it worked out well, and also did well on TikTok. I am now enjoy TikTok.
You're a TikTok guy now. In terms of the game itself, this was the first game we didn't have credentials, so we were kind of just watching from some regular seats, which sounds weird to say because even just having a ticket to this game is a flex in itself. But it was just a different POV, and I of course had a guy in front of me who did the classic SEC guy move of tried to stand for the entire game. Eventually, the people behind us told him he needed to sit down. He listened eventually, but one of them had that like SEC belt on that had every team. And I was just like, these guys are true SEC guys. So he sat down. The rest of the game was enjoyable. So it was nice to kind of see the different view, but I'll be honest, I missed kind of like the cadence of, okay, we're going to run on the field after the game. We're going to get this shot. It's just different.
It was a nice change of pace. The guy standing bothered you way more than it bothered me.
Yeah.
I enjoy a good fandom, a good whatever. I can understand your frustrations, but I think it's part of the game, whatever. So it is what it is. My biggest pet peeve of the whole game, since I wasn't on the field, was the fact that they weren't selling beer inside the stadium.
Yeah. At that point, I kept asking. I was like, do they sell beer here? Do you want a beer? I was just like, I feel like you could use a beer, and they did not have it.
There's no beer available. So it is what it is. I think they're going to have beer next year, so whatever. Hopefully we'll go back. But didn't know that until we got inside. Kind of a letdown. So it is what it is. But the game was sweet. Dixieland Delight, all their cheers, the little pom-pom things that they have. I think Chad gave us some. I have no idea where those ended up. But yeah, it was a good energy for the most part. And I don't know, Alabama fans, you'd think that they kind of take it for granted, but they were electric. I mean, you could tell that game meant something to them. It was a big game in there, and they were fired up from the start.
Yeah, it was. Game wise, we'll get to it later, but I think that kind of hits the nail on the head of like you would think after all these years that they would take it for granted, but no, I mean people were wilding out, and just the environment there is it's very, very electric, very different. I mean, I obviously compare everything to Michigan, so it's like
everything is electric.
Yeah. So,
well, that's about it. Now, Saturday night after the game, I went out with my buddy, and the Auburn LSU game was on, and people were watching, and people were screaming, and like people were screaming when LSU was doing doing good, or when they came back, or when, I don't know, whatever, back and forth the whole game was, and I was like, I kind of forgot for a second that I was like in this environment of Auburn and LSU, and how everyone at Alabama hates Auburn, and how they're close and all this stuff. And then I realized, wait, there's actually Auburn fans here too, because we weren't in Tuscaloosa that night. We were back in Birmingham, and it was kind of a cool reminder of these schools aren't that far apart from each other. It took me a second to realize there's fans in the same state, not too far from each other, rooting against you. So there's like people rooting for Auburn and rooting against Auburn in the same place, and I was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So just a cool little look back on that as well. So so we take a break real quick.
Yep.
We're gonna come back, do a little Red River talk, hop into some appreciate yous, and whatever. We got Power 5, locks of the week. We still have a lot to go. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to Still Eligible. Red River Showdown this weekend, Pat.
what's the river part? Can you explain that to me?
There's a river in between Austin and Norman.
You pass.
Sure. I don't know. Actually, I don't know the answer to that. Do you know the anster to that?
I don't.
I mean, it sounds like that was the first thing I could come up with.
Yeah.
You look it up. I'll tell the story
okay.
While you do that. So if you saw our picture today, or yesterday, I guess, on Instagram, social media, announcing where we're headed, Red River Rivalry in town, it is a picture of me with Jalen Hurts taking a selfie, it kind of looks like. But the back's, Pat's in there as well. But Pat wasn't there at the actual time.
I was
That's
not.
Called Photoshop. And a pretty crappy one.
And you were working at Ohio State, and I was working at Michigan,
yeah.
Which is like I saw the picture. I distinctly remember like you posting it, and I was just like, of course.
How did I end up in this situation?
But
it was my bye week, 2019, and our boss, had me come down for the game, and he's a big Oklahoma guy, and I just wore neutral. I just wore a PFG, just fitting in. But anyways, we were sitting there watching the game. We went to I think a couple beers pregame and some beers throughout the game. I was kind of feeling loose and goose. And our girl Lauren, who helped us get credentials and access for this weekend, shout out Lauren, came up and said hello to us. Probably the start of the fourth quarter, early on in the fourth quarter. And Lauren's a beast at her job, but she's not necessarily a social media person, for lack of a better term, and doesn't really know the ins and outs. And no hate towards Lauren, but she came up and showed me her Instagram story that she was doing for Red River on their Instagram that day, and was like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad." I might have said some other things, 5, 6, 10 beers deep. I don't know. But then what ended up happening was she's like, "Well, if you think you can do better, / like if you want me to drink your beer and you go down on the field, I can just give you my credential and you can just go down there and do it." Yep, sign me up. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. So I was running around down there the fourth quarter. I remember like texting her. I had her phone. I think she had 2 phones. I texted her and was like, "Do you want me to stay down here for the post game like stuff, or do you want me to come back up and give you your camera back and you to do it?" And she's like, "If you're down there, you got it. You got it." And I was like, "Cool." So long story short, I'm like right next to Lincoln Riley. We'll post some videos and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm right next to Lincoln Riley when he gets the gold, what do you call that, cowboy hat trophy and whatever. So then I'm all over, just like having a field day, 9 beers deep, taking photos, taking videos on her like new iPhone. Like I didn't have a camera. It was like my first time ever documenting on something like just via phone and whatever. And then after the game, or after that, I'm sorry, they want to do a big team picture. And this is after I got all these good shots. I'm like, this is great, whatever. And I'm in the front. And they're like, team picture. So I'm in the front. And I get on my knees, and I'm just sitting there. And they're like, all right, back up. Like, tell me to back up. So I'm backing up. And as I'm backing up, I'm just like kind of on my knees, walking backwards, trying to be in the front because I'm using my phone, whatever, or her phone. And this big old Texas Ranger comes up to me. And, like, he's like, where's your credential? And since I'm running around, like, the credential just flipped behind my neck. And, like, that happens a lot when we're running or whatever. The credential flips behind your neck. And I was like, it's right here, whatever. I flip it around. He, like, grabs it, like, just like a and he rips it out of my hands. He goes, you're not Lauren. And I was like, God. He's like, get out of here. And he, like, grabs me by the back of the collar and, like, throws me out of there. And I was like, whatever. I was like, little does that guy know, I got so much good content already, whatever. So then I run over the sidelines and I see Lauren. I'm like, hey, like, I just got yelled at, but I got you something. So then, whatever. After the game, she's looking through my stuff. She's loving it. And then she's on Instagram and sees that Oklahoma post that photo of Jalen and myself. And that's the full story of that photo. So. Sorry,
I don't know if I ever knew the Ranger part, but it makes sense.
Yeah, he was not happy with me.
Maybe he'll
be
be
there.
Yeah.
Maybe there Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not Lauren still, but I'm real this time. So shout out that guy. Appreciate that guy.
Yeah, appreciate ya. And we're gonna appreciate yas, which is a segment we do. This is your catchphrase. We let people know that we appreciate them. My first appreciate you goes to the social media outage. Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. We're down on Tuesday. We're not huge WhatsApp guys.
No, I don't even know what that is.
It's just a messaging platform. Didn't put a podcast on Tuesday, so this is
because you told me on WhatsApp when to be in the office.
Exactly. But yeah, it gave us a good opportunity, put our phones down, stop being so obsessed with social media and, do things, get outside, spend quality time with people. And so naturally I just spent like 5 hours on TikTok. So social media, obviously gift and a curse, fact that it can basically be down from a major platform standpoint. I can still find ways to waste the entire day, is appreciated. So the social media outage, the great social media outage of 2021. Appreciate ya.
Oh, this will be in history books for our grandkids. Yep. They'll be reading about the day that WhatsApp was down. My first appreciation goes out to Sunday Night Football. I came home Sunday night from Birmingham International Airport. We got to start ranking these sub-cities of airports. I think that'd be a good rating system. The guy at Wisconsin pissed me off, so they'll probably be at the bottom. Remember we went through the wrong security?
Oh, that was terrible.
They didn't tell us until the very end, and I was like, I hate you. At
least we were early, but we have caught some early flights since starting this, and it's like, when people are like, little things like that aren't super annoying at like 10 a.m., but at like 5 a.m.
I want to
really grind your gears.
He ruined Wisconsin. The great weekend. He ruined the entire trip for me. Anyway, so I hung out with my buddy on Sunday, came back Sunday night. So I watched Sunday Night Football the whole plane ride home. And so I was very entertaining game. Some key things for me from that game. Steve Belichick, Rodney Harrison's umbrella, the return of Tom Brady, and it just being a great game overall. So feel free to add insight if you saw any of this, but Steve Belichick's face.
All time.
Faces, making on the sidelines, like the crinkling face, the tongue movements, literally calling plays via tongue movements laterally and up and down.
Speaking in tongues.
And yeah, it was weird. And I don't know. the mullet's all time. If you look at the pictures of him without the mullet and with the mullet, arguably looks better with the mullet. Not a handsome guy like his father, but it is what it is. Yeah, I did some research on him. Went to Rutgers, actually played lacrosse there. He was a long snapper there for Greg Schiano in his first stint in Piscataway. So he looks like a long snapper. He looks like a laxer. He looks rough, but yeah, the tongue and the face stuff and whatever he was trying to do. I don't know how I've never seen this stuff before, but I guess I don't watch a lot of Patriots games in general. So more of a red zone guy, Browns guy.
Yeah, you kind of. I think you missed that. I think you missed that with. I don't think red zone is necessarily covering.
Well, red zone's not Sunday Night Football.
Well, just
they're not covering
facial movements. Yeah,
facial.
It's more of the.
You never know.
Yeah,
it's a red zone face. Rodney Harrison. I don't know if you saw this, but this dude also looked like an idiot for a different reason. Physically not being able to hold his umbrella. Tirico, Drew Brees, and who was the third guy down there? Tirico, Drew Brees, and why can't I think of it? Brain fart. Dungy.
Dungy, yeah.
They were down there holding their umbrellas pregame. It was a gross day in New England, which it always is. And Rodney Harrison had just some random hand holding the umbrella for him. And whether there was a reason behind it or him just being a dick was one of the two. So Rodney Harrison, yeah, you look like an idiot. And then, like I said, the return of Tom Brady was cool. The whole pregame, that's all they were talking about. They did a cool little video pregame. He broke Drew Brees' passing record. Drew Brees was there. And then at the end of it, it was a monsoon and it kicked off the post. So I was entertained start to finish. Tom Brady didn't necessarily have the best game, but like, he just kept talking about it, seeing old videos and all that stuff. So Sunday Night Football, it made my flight home enjoyable. Appreciate you.
My next one, I guess we heard about this. I don't know if did you see this during the game? Like I don't know if I noticed it until later.
I think around halftime I saw it.
Okay. But the Alabama mascot, Big Al, we've seen Big Al twice now.
Legend. As big as advertised. I guess some context here. Lane Kiffin had a pregame interview. He told viewers to get your popcorn ready before kind of jogging off to the sideline. Obviously didn't exactly pay off. Ole Miss was down 28-0 before losing 42-21. And Lane said to his offensive coordinator, he said, I just said something really stupid. You better score a lot of points. Did he say that?
He said that, yeah. And so
I saw him throw his headset. That was the best part.
Yeah. In the second half, yeah. So Big Al came out with a popcorn box overflowing with kernels. And then I kind of looked up some of the backstory of how that happened. I guess the director of the Spirit programs at Alabama, they were up, as I said, 28-0. So they sent a staffer to they call it Big Al's Lair in Coleman Coliseum. I guess they've had this popcorn costume for a while for basketball games. They've used it before. They wore it during
probably not with as good of context.
No, they wore it during like the COVID season. But so they kind of hustled the wardrobe over to the stadium in time for Big Al to rock the popcorn costume. So Big Al, the popcorn costume, and everyone who made that happen, appreciate you.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, that was very entertaining. Good stuff. You love a good little
chuckle.
And the timing on that, impeccable. Who would have thought? I don't have a popcorn costume ready in situations like that. Anyways, Justin Fields, my guy, named starter of the Chicago Bears yesterday, if you're listening to this on Thursday. Cleveland roughed him up a little bit a few weeks ago, got sacked once or twice or 9 times, I don't know. But he is new QB1 for the Bears. And I guess when he found out he was QB1, his parents wanted to take him to dinner. They were in town. They wanted to take him to dinner. He said no and stayed at home and watched film with his dog, Uno, because he said, I'm not trying to be complacent. So, I mean, telling your parents no to dinner. My mom would kill me.
Oh, yeah.
But also, I'm not the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears.
This is true.
So, Justin Fields, I've always appreciated you. I could appreciate you every week, but congratulations on being QB1. And from me to you, Pat included, appreciate you.
That's not true, but I do think the turning your parents down to watch film is a interesting move for sure. We're just gonna jump right into our next segment. So we've been doing these for a while now. Power 5 lists. So we each choose 5 things. We do a snake draft, which I totally understand how it works, and we kind of just go back and forth. And so for this one, we chose rivalries. I don't know why.
Yeah, because we're going to our first rivalry.
Yeah, I don't know why I asked that like it's a question because I knew what it was. I'm trying to think. Did I go first last time?
I don't remember.
I can go first this time.
How about we do the coin flip app? Coin flip. Wait, call heads or tails?
Tails.
Wait, let me redo it. It did land on heads, but I didn't properly. Here we go. Ready?
Tails.
Flip again. Heads.
Okay.
I don't know who went first last time. But we did the coin flip.
I'm glad that the coin flip app was not down today because I don't know what we would have done there.
All right. So I go 1.
Yep.
Having the lead position is a strategy in its
Yeah, that's why I wanted to go first.
We're gonna say Dwight and Jim.
Nice.
No, because that's my first one. Dwight and Jim from The Office. I think that's an all-time rivalry. Obviously, if you've ever watched The Office, you know that's an all-time rivalry. They pick on each other. I don't know who's better at it, but it's entertaining, and it's a rivalry, and that is my first one, Dwight and Jim. All-time rivalry.
Nice. I already made one biblical reference today. I'm going to make another. God versus Satan.
Wow.
This is an all-time rivalry.
It is all-time.
Some might even say it's an eternal rivalry.
May never end.
Light versus darkness, good versus evil. It's kind of the basis for all rivalries. So,
wow. It all goes back to the rib.
Yeah, all goes back to the rib.
Beautiful. Love it.
I'm going to go again. I'm going to be strategic here in what I'm doing. Tom and Jerry.
That is a good one.
Tom being the cat, Jerry being the mouse. 2 of the biggest rivals of all time. Always kind of, I guess, fighting, the chase always ensuing. Although I will say there is a popular theory that Tom and Jerry are actually best friends, but Tom has to pretend to hate Jerry in order to protect Jerry so that Tom's owner doesn't replace Jerry with a cat that actually wants to kill Jerry. I don't know if I believe all of that, but there's a lot of hijinks and chasing going on in that rivalry, whether it's fake or not, so I'm still going to include it in my list.
All right, well, I don't know if you consider this one a rivalry, but for the sake of it, I'll say it. Ohio State versus Michigan. All-time rivalry. I don't know if it's a rivalry for the sake that you guys haven't won in, a very long time, 9 years, 8 games. I told you faked a COVID injury last year just so you didn't have to play the game. But, obviously when it comes to football and sports and college football especially, whatever word you want to use, try to get out of your mouth.
You're like the Alabama commenter guy.
And, I think that's an all-time game. That's obviously means something to us. Like I said, I don't know how big of a rivalry this truly is, but the history's there, the hatred's there. The Woody Hayes wouldn't even buy gasoline for the team buses in the state of Michigan. That runs deep in my veins, and I believe that is the best. I don't know why I didn't start with that one. I figured maybe you would have taken
Probably because you asked me earlier if I was doing it. I told you no.
Yes, that is why.
I showed my cards.
I feel like Dwight and Jim, you never know. That could have been a good one.
I think I have another one that might pertain to that, so keep going.
Pertain to this?
Sure.
Oh, Dwight and Jim of The Office?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yes, that's that one. That's 2. I've got 3 left, but I've got way more than that on my list. So I have to figure out which one I'm going to go with. I'll take this one because you might take this one. This is just some current events news for you. Just Urban Meyer and following basic rules and morals. That's just a rivalry.
I did have that slightly. I had Urban Meyer versus job stability, but I think yours is probably better.
We can team up on it. I mean, it was a rough weekend for my guy.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I want to say my guy by any means. He might be multiple people's guy after this weekend. Urban found himself in a little bit of a predicament as he didn't get on the team flight and stayed home to hang out with the grandkids and some other kids who might not be his grandkids, but
not his wife.
Not his wife. So, not appreciate you by any means. A rivalry, Urban and basic rules and morals.
Do you think he is coaching at a big time college football program within the next few years?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why he went to the NFL. We can talk about that at a different time. He is an intimidator and a recruiter and a few other things, but I don't know why he went to the NFL. It's clearly not looking great, and he said how hard it is and whatever. And I don't know. He's known for recruiting, and he's not – well, I guess he's still recruiting in a different kind of way.
Yeah, the whole comment about everyone's like Alabama is a little concerning.
Just not – you don't want your head coach to say that.
No, it's never good. All right, I got two here. You stole one of mine, but luckily I have a few more in the can. So, I mean, this one's just kind of the all-time rivalry, but also, like, people feel very opinionated on it. I mean, Pepsi versus Coke.
What's your side of that? I know, actually.
I mean, I'm more of a Diet Coke guy. Are you a Coke guy? Diet Coke?
If I had to choose, I'd be a Coke guy, yeah.
Okay.
Not a Diet Coke guy.
Not a Diet Coke guy.
I feel like that's weird. Not weird, but I don't like the way it tastes personally.
I mean, I would like to be more of a Coke guy, but just calorically, it's.
I'm not pounding Cokes by any means.
Okay, that's good. Pepsi versus Coke. A lot of times, I mean, on these trips, like people will. I always ask for a Diet Coke or whatever, and it's always, is Pepsi okay? And I'm not the kind of person who says no, but some people, like my parents, for example, will not drink Pepsi.
It's interesting, too, when you go to some of these southern places, you're like, I'll have a Coke. And I'm like, what kind?
Yeah.
Because then that's a Coke could be a Coke, or a Coke could be a Sprite, or a Coke could be a
soda of some
sorts. Is it pop or soda?
I mean, depends on where you live. It opens up a whole Pandora's box of Pandora's can, if you will, of issues. But Pepsi versus Coke, I think that's a pretty big rivalry, kind of dominating the soda industry. My next one, I alluded to it earlier. I'm going to have to kind of audible for my last one, but this next one, also from The Office. I don't know if I would consider this a kind of a mutual rivalry, but Michael and Toby from The Office. And I think that Michael, in the same way that Ohio State has been dominating Michigan, kind of dominates
Toby.
That rivalry. I don't think that Toby actually hates Michael, because Toby seems to be a pretty nice guy, and maybe the comparisons there with the Ohio State Michigan thing are more than I realized when I picked this. But I mean, Michael does not like Toby. I think that Toby gets frustrated with Michael, but kind of tries to be diplomatic, tries to be friendly. But I mean, maybe that is kind of the Michigan Ohio State dynamic in a nutshell, I guess, now that I think about it.
Very well could be.
So yeah, Michael and Toby from The Office.
I'm struggling. I've got a few left, and I don't know where to take this. I guess I'll just go with. I mean, yeah, this is a good one. That's a great one. Red Sox Yankees. I mean, last night the playing game for the wild card, and 1 game, 9 innings, playoffs. I mean, the history of the Red Sox and Yankees, I could sit here and talk about it for days, is just unmatched. I mean, from them fighting on the field and just, I mean, I don't know, the amount of World Series and how prestigious those two teams are and everything about it. They hate each other just like Ohio State, Michigan, and any good rivalry, and that is the rivalry in the MLB forever and always. So, Red Sox, Yankees, that's a gimme. That's a gimme. So I got one left. I got 4 on here.
Are you just coming up with it on the fly now?
No,
you're picking from a.
I didn't know. I don't know. I didn't know if you were going to say Red Sox, Yankees, or Ohio State, Michigan, or whatever. So I was playing the Urban one or the Dwight one. All these I felt like could have been stolen. But you know one that was not going to be stolen, Pat, is my guy Chris Webber in timeouts. All-time rivalry. And I could explain this, but I feel like you might be able to explain this better.
We can take a timeout right now. Actually, I know I have at least one.
You do no timeouts. Chris Webber. What was that the Natty Final Four? I actually don't. I just put it.
I believe it was. I mean, it was against North Carolina. I think it was. I know it was at least like the Final Four. Let's see. National championship, yeah, against North Carolina.
Chris Webber timeout game. Called a timeout when they didn't have timeouts. Michigan ends up losing that game. What's it called? The Fab Five. Never won a natty. Boom. So, yeah, there we go. That's my 5.
Those are your 5. Okay.
Chris Webber. We talk about my honorable mentions once you're done.
Yeah. So I need to. I was really looking forward to having one that had to do with football because that's kind of.
Do you have one?
I have one more, but the urban one was my.
You're banking on that one?
I was banking on that one, so I'll go with one that's a little more close to home. Mine is me versus personal trainers in the gym. I have never enjoyed personal trainers. I feel like I have a couple over the years who I've had very antagonistic relationships with to the point where I've had to like either change a gym or kind of change up my gym schedule because someone will annoy me so much. So it's something where.
Do you think this could be a you problem?
It could be. Many things could be.
Maybe it is.
So I just don't really. I don't like them. I've never used one. After this fall, I will definitely need one. So maybe I have to change my mindset on that. But yeah, I just I've had some bad experiences over the years, Jack. So personal trainers and me are the 5th.
Or go. Or I'm eating ice. Took a sip at the wrong time. Speaking of personal trainers, I went to my girlfriend's yoga class the other day. She teaches in her spare time and just absolutely destroyed me.
Did she like try to get you?
No, like I've been to a few classes with her. I mean, like she does it. I think she teaches like twice a week or something like that. I've been to a few classes with her, but never one of her classes. And like normally the teachers are like randomly like throughout the class, be like, "Good job, Jack," or like whatever. Like, I don't need a pat on the back, but like they're like I see you out here grinding, whatever. And I never got one of those, so I don't know if
we say that to each other all the time about this job. But I think because we say it so much that we do need a pat on the back.
It loses its value sometimes. Yeah, I didn't get any of that. She just kicked my butt.
She didn't give you one good job.
No, not even afterwards. I don't even never. So that's cool. I don't like personal trainers either. Now you bring it up. Yeah. A couple other ones I think that we left off. Duke, North Carolina.
Yep.
I mean, that's got to be a gimme. That's the second best rivalry in college sports behind Ohio State, Michigan. Auburn, Alabama. That's on there somewhere. I put Ferris Bueller and Principal Rooney on there.
Those are all good ones. I mean, I hope that people at this point realize that I, more so than I think you, am not trying to like my goal with these is to usually make the graphic look so ridiculous and have the voting outcome be like 100% you because my picks are so crazy. I have a few.
I'm not trying to win these outright by any means.
No.
I like a little competition. But also, it's like, how are you going to leave off Red Sox Yankees?
No. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I had a few fun ones in there.
I got some more just that I pulled Xbox versus PlayStation.
That's good. That's actually great.
Yeah.
That should have been your first one.
Maybe.
Your Coke Pepsi one's good.
East Coast versus West Coast rap. Team Edward versus Team Jacob was one that.
If you would have said that, I would have literally quit.
All right, so Team Edward versus Team Jacob.
And this is still eligible. Thanks for coming in.
Yes.
We will be right back. We're going to do our locks of the week, recap and preview, and Pat might be doing it by himself. See ya.
you're still here.
Yeah, I thought about quitting. I'll save it for a future. Just never. I'm not a Twilight guy. We're here to talk about sports, not what is it? Vampires.
Yeah,
I was not into that.
Are you into locks?
I'm very into locks of the week, Pat. Let's dive right into it.
Oh, I was talking about like keys.
Let's lock it up right into it. We've got to go through all of our locks, recapping and previewing. So I say we just fly through them because it's already all running a little bit long. Okay. So last week, Ole Miss, Alabama. I took under 79.5. Final was 42-21. So obviously this worked out well. It was just a blowout. This 42-21 is way closer than it actually was. It just, I don't know. And you can't say to get your popcorn ready when you just get absolutely worked. Moving on, Cincinnati at Notre Dame, under 51. This one also hit. Biggest win in Cincinnati history. Notre Dame, not looking too hot. I think this is the year, obviously, that a Power 5, non-Power 5 gets into the CFP. We've been talking about it. Cincinnati, I've been talking about it a lot. Clemson 2 loss, Notre Dame loss, Oregon lost this past weekend. The ACC probably won't have anybody. And then who knows, if Oklahoma or if no one makes it out of the Big 12, it could be Florida, Georgia, whoever makes it out of the Big 10, which is going to be a mess. It's either going to be Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, Iowa. 5 teams that are all in contention. So whatever. I hope Cincinnati makes it. I'm still talking under 51. It hit. Arkansas versus Georgia. I think we can both just say this was not a good pick in hindsight.
Yep.
We wanted to show love to Arkansas. I tried to actually throw you off last week when you were like, oh, that Arkansas 18.5 gets me going. And I was like, yeah, but it's Georgia. And then I just followed suit, and we both were wrong.
Yeah.
Georgia's defense is just through the roof. Amazing. And that kind of is what it is. Florida versus Kentucky. I mean, come on, guys. Not a good pick. A bad pick indeed. Worst loss for Florida. But yeah, I'm excited. Less excited to see that Florida-Georgia game. Still excited to see it. But yeah, Dan Mullen, I don't know if you saw his post-game press conference, but it was beyond odd. It was beyond awkward. He was like very defensive about like questions and kind of like whatever. Obviously, he just lost the game, so I get why you're defensive. It was very cringeworthy. But I've been told, coming in the year that Kentucky was going to be good. They are, I guess, decent, but they're going to get smacked by Georgia in a few weeks, and then they might win out the rest of their schedule. But I don't know. They're not going to beat Georgia. So congrats on beating Florida. And if you do beat Georgia, then I guess Kentucky can make the CFP. Who knows?
That's wild.
And last one, Texas -5 at TCU. That was a push. Second push of the year for me. 5 points. I don't know. It was a back and forth game. Deshaun Robinson, 216 yards. So that was cool. He's a beast. Excited to see him this weekend. First win for Texas in Fort Worth since 2013, the year I graduated high school. So let's talk about that. Let's not actually talk about that because we're trying to move along. Pat,
Ole Miss, Alabama. I took Alabama -17.5. Brian Robinson, another Robinson, not related to Bijan as far as I'm aware.
I was chewing. What'd you say? I'm eating.
I'll just keep going. So
I just talked. Figured it was your time. I could zone out.
Yeah. 171 yards, 4 touchdowns. That was impressive. I think Bryce Young threw for 241 and 2 touchdowns, but like it just seems like he seems like a game manager, but he's so much more, and he's so much better.
Heisman front runner.
Crazy. So yeah, I mean, it should have been more of a blowout. Bama made some mistakes at the end of the game, and obviously Ole Miss scored late. I took Michigan +1.5. Cade McNamara, speaking of game managers, is an actual game manager. But when Joe Milton and Dylan McCaffrey transferred, I was very upset. I thought that Michigan was not going to be able to be good for a while, but Cade's playing great. J.J. McCarthy, the future of the program, went 1 for 1 for a 58-yard touchdown. So that's probably.
My thing is, like, you pick Alabama and Michigan every week, which is fine.
Yeah.
And I hate Michigan, so I'm not going to pick Michigan. But these numbers are ridiculous. Like, I wanted to pick Michigan last week, and I would have had an easy win because Wisconsin's garbage, and you clearly beat them by a ton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I'm never going to pick Michigan.
No, I know. It's same thing with Ohio State for me. Michigan was jumping around. They said they wanted to kind of take advantage of kind of the energy, and obviously that's a big tradition. We've talked about it on previous episodes. They jumped around before the start of the fourth quarter, and then David Ojabo had 2.5 sacks. So him and Aiden Hutchinson are crushing it right now. I won't talk too much about the Arkansas game. Obviously, that was a bad pick. Georgia rushed for 273 yards and 3 touchdowns combined. Had that blocked punt touchdown recovery. Not a good pick. And then Cincinnati, Notre Dame. I took Notre Dame. Kyle Hamilton kind of got juked on a touchdown catch, which was pretty shocking because I think he's like the best safety in the nation. And then obviously that muffed kick return hurt Notre Dame. And since he only had 89 rushing yards, which just kind of goes to show that Desmond Ridder had a great game. And then Oregon, Stanford. I took the over. It ended up being 54 total points. The over was 57.5. So that was a tough loss for me. But
tougher loss for Oregon.
Exactly.
Bunch of losers.
A lot of they're going to be running this week. A lot of undisciplined plays towards the end of the game that kind of even gave Stanford a chance. So I mean, it was actually better for me from a points perspective, but they didn't pull it off. So that was
sorry about it.
That was frustrating. And then, I guess moving forward, we'll just keep it rolling. Texas OU, I guess before we get into it, just updated rankings or whatever. I'm 13-12. You're now 12, 11, and 2.
Yeah.
I believe that's correct. We will correct that if that's not correct. Right. Texas OU, I'm taking OU minus 3.5. Texas did not look great versus TCU, and Spencer Rattler had a solid game against Kansas State, but that game was a little too close for comfort. I think Oklahoma is going to have a breakout game and actually play like they're a top team. I also think that Spencer Rattler, I've seen him mocked in enough drafts at the number 1 or top 5 pick to know that he's bound to have a breakout game soon, and I think this is going to be it. So I'm taking OU.
I couldn't disagree with everything you just said more.
As is tradition.
Texas, they had a rough game. Not a rough game. They had their first win since 2013 at TCU last week. You're failing to mention that Oklahoma only won by 6 against Kansas State. So Bashan Robinson, he's going to ball. He has been balling. Oklahoma's defense is obviously good, so they're going to try to stop him. Oklahoma has not looked good. They are undefeated. I will give them that. But they have not been impressive. Not impressed. Texas is trending upwards. Oklahoma has just been like level. Not impressed. I'll take the 3.5 points. I'll take Texas. Hook 'em. Carry on.
Yeah. That works with the sides we're taking for the game, so that'll be interesting. Michigan minus 3.5 at Nebraska. I think that Michigan covers this easily. Like I said, Cade McNamara is a great game manager. I think that we have a quarterback situation right now where I would love to see J.J. McCarthy, eventually become the starter. But right now, I think we're in a good spot with Cade. And then, like I said, Aiden Hutchinson is unblockable right now. He's going to be a top 10 draft pick. And Michigan is just trending upwards. So I think that I feel confident in that pick.
Speaking of trending upward, we're going to go with Ohio State minus 20.5. Almost 3 touchdowns here. I haven't picked Ohio State, I don't even know, in a very long time. And since you pick Michigan every week, I'm like, screw it, I'll pick Ohio State.
Sure.
So here I did. Obviously, a lot more points, but it's because they're the better team. Last week, they were 14.5-point favorite against Rutgers, and they won by 39. Ohio State just needs to keep it rolling. They still have to play Penn State, Michigan State, and Michigan. So we need to keep getting better. And keep this train rolling. So Buckeyes minus 20.5.
Alabama minus 17.5 at Texas A&M. This is my new Washington State over pick. Sorry, Ian, but like I said,
who likes Washington State?
Ian.
Why?
Because you went there.
Washington State is garbage.
Bryce Young and Brian Robinson Jr. I think talk about a duo. And yes, I acknowledge that because sometimes I'll write the bullet points for this before making the pick, and then I kind of reevaluate. So like I said, Bryce does not put up crazy stats. Obviously against Southern Miss he did. His current high for passing yards is 344, but he doesn't make mistakes, like 17 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So A&M has not really impressed me. I'm taking Bama.
Yeah, I mean, A&M's kind of fallen off the map there, but it's a night game at A&M, so that's why I stayed away from it. I don't know. You might be right, but if you're wrong, it's the night factor.
It's better for you. Georgia
at Auburn. I'm taking under 46.5. Georgia's defense is just too good. They've outscored opponents in the first quarter. Georgia has 91-6.
Yeah, that's a great pick. I should have made that one.
Well, you didn't.
Yeah.
And they just look good. They look dominant right now. They won last week against Arkansas very convincingly. They've only given up 23 points in 5 games, and no one's scored on them in the past 2 weeks, so 3 weeks since someone scored on them. So, yeah, I'm thinking Georgia's D. I mean, they might give up some more touchdowns. I don't know. The last touchdown they gave up was their, backups. So, they might give up more points against a good Auburn team, but I think it's still going to be low scoring. 46.5 seems like a good number to me, so take the under there.
I like that pick a lot. As I stated, Arkansas at Ole Miss. I think this is going to be a movie, so they should probably get their popcorn ready for this one. I think both teams are coming off an embarrassing loss. I think that Matt Corral impressed me in the game. I know that Bama beat him up a little bit. I know that it was kind of wasn't a game at all. Obviously 28-0 being down, that's a tough situation to be in. But I mean, there's a reason why he was a Heisman frontrunner at least coming into that game, and I think this is just kind of a redemption game for both of them. And I was very impressed by seeing Ole Miss in person. Obviously, have not seen Arkansas in person yet, but we know based on the Texas A&M game that they can pop off. So I'm taking the over with this one.
There you go. I gotta find myself on here. Arkansas at Ole Miss. That's what you just did.
Mm-hmm.
Over. Interesting.
Over.
Yeah, this game is gonna probably. I think that's a bad pick, so I'm gonna pick a bad pick on my end. The UConn plays UMass this weekend, and people will be like, "Why are you talking about this game, Jack? Nobody cares about this game." Yeah, you're probably right. It's the battle of the defeateds. UConn hasn't won a game since October 26, 2019. UMass hasn't won a game since September 28, 2019.
Yikes.
Yeah, so not a good game. Not a game you probably want to watch this weekend, but a game that you should keep an eye on. I'm excited for it. I'm trying to find the line. I saw it earlier. I think it was 3.5 for UConn. I'm pulling it up real quick. Mass. Yeah, 3.5. Minus 3.5 for UConn. I'm taking that. Minus 3.5 UConn. They haven't won. Neither of them have won, but they've won more recently. So that's the only reason I'm taking it. I have no idea if this is going to be a good pick or a bad pick, but it should be a fun pick. So check out UConn,
3.5. Penn State at Iowa. This was tough. I'm trying to not do the thing where you write something and then delete it in the Google Doc and then write something else, because then when you lose, it feels 10 times as worse. But I'm going to take the over here at 41.5. Jahan Dotson has had a touchdown in every game this season, and he had 2 against Indiana. Iowa is also coming off of a 51-14 shellacking of Maryland. I think both of these teams kind of, like I said, with Michigan trending upwards. Offensively, good output. I'm going to take the over here. I may regret that. The last 2 picks I had, I really struggled with, but I'm going to take the over.
There you go. I saw that you took the over, and then beneath it, I bolded Penn State 1.5, but that was to throw you off because I am taking the under here.
Impressive.
Yeah, there we go. The defense for Iowa's just elite. They've got 75 points off turnovers. It's just they're awesome. They're balling. I think we're going to keep that a low-scoring game. Iowa's defense is legit. Penn State's offense is obviously legit. But Big Ten football. It's not necessarily known for the points and all that stuff. So I'm going under 41.5 for my last pick. Penn State at Iowa, top 5 matchup.
It's not always about the points. It's about the memories made along the way.
I mean, sure. So there we go. I don't know how long this podcast is about to be, but I got to get home and edit it, and that's what I say every week. I think this is a longer one, but Tuesday, Thursday combined, we're going to the Red River what's it called?
Showdown.
Showdown. I almost said shootout.
Not the shootout anymore.
Yeah. Tough times. Yeah. There we go. So follow us on social media. This is our podcast. We are still eligible. Thanks for listening. Pat, anything to add?
I guess follow us on TikTok.
Follow us on, I said social media. That's included now. I'm a TikTok guy. Yeah. I hated TikTok. There's a video of me somewhere saying I hate TikTok.
But you're a TikTok guy now.
But now, after this past weekend and what the metrics showed me, I don't understand it, but I understand that I appreciate it. So
men lie, women lie, metrics do not.
Put it on my gravestone. Until next time, we are still eligible. Hey, it's Jack. Appreciate you listening to today's podcast. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Make sure to follow us on social media @StillEligible. We'll see you next time.